Let's talk for a minute about Mayor Pete. Pete Buttigieg is the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and up until a couple months ago, most people had either never heard of him or didn't know how to pronounce his name.
President Pete Buttigieg.
Buttigieg?
Buttigieg,
Sorry, okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Today, however, Buttigieg is consistently polling in the top 5 for Democratic candidates, competing with brand-name Democrats like Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. How's that possible? Well, the answer, of course, is the media. Right now, Buttigieg is sitting in that wild card place among presidential candidates, where he's attracting far more attention than he really has any reason to. Sure, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are going to get more overall news coverage because they're the obvious frontrunners, but it's clear the media wants to talk about Buttigieg. They think stories about him will drive clicks and engagement, and so they're keeping him in the mix far more than some of the other more well-known candidates. And the reason is pretty straightforward. Buttigieg is a compelling figure. He's a veteran of Afghanistan, a liberal mayor in deep red Indiana, and let's be honest, he's gay. He's an openly gay, married man running for president. That's an inherently interesting thing to write and read about, and there's 100 different angles to take. What does this mean for the LGBT community in politics? How will smaller, more socially conservative communities in Iowa and New Hampshire react to Buttigieg? What role will his husband play in the campaign, and will that look different than other campaign spouses? Is Buttigieg the de facto voice of the LGBT community in 2020, and what are the politics around that? It's endless, and the media loves it. That fact alone, the media's editorial preference, is why the mayor of South Bend is polling better than the mayor of New York City. Well, that and a whole bunch of other reasons. It's why a guy that nobody's heard of can be challenging powerful senators who've been working towards this moment for years. Now, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's great to get fresh blood into a presidential race, shake up the political dynamic, and maybe stick it to the establishment. But there's a trade-off here. If the media can simply invent candidates because they're interesting to talk about, which of course makes money, then we're effectively deprioritizing careers in politics and public service. Now, that might sound great to a lot of people. Hey, we're getting rid of the career politicians. But it also means you know a lot less about the people you're voting for. You can't judge their record in public life if they don't really have one. And it also introduces an element of randomness in the process of electing the most powerful person in the world. If a person can generate a ton of media attention, then that somehow gives them a road to the presidency. And that's how we got Trump. In Buttigieg's case, I think he's going to build some momentum. I think he's going to make himself into a serious figure in Democratic politics, but media attention isn't enough yet to win him the nomination. He's getting a lot of free media, sure, but that's still not enough to overcome the fundraising and organizational advantages that some of the other candidates have. Still, this is an important trend to watch. Is this a healthy thing that shines a spotlight on new and different candidates, or are we elevating people based on what's most interesting for the media to report? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and you can find a link to the media analytics dashboard I'm using to follow the race. I'll be keeping it updated throughout the primaries, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions on how it can be improved, please let me know. Thanks, and until next time.